The world is rapidly evolving and AI is at the forefront of this transformation. It's reshaping the way we work, how teams collaborate, and how companies innovate to meet customer expectations. While some businesses struggle to implement AI, others are thriving by embracing these technologies with the help of consultants and specialists. The results? Remarkable productivity, profitability, and growth. If you haven't started integrating AI into your workflows, now is the time. You might feel overwhelmed or unsure, but standing still is no longer an option. Falling behind in this critical moment could mean losing your competitive edge or even facing business failure. In this presentation, you'll hear from an expert in AI strategy and implementation who will guide you on how to harness AI's power for your business. Whether you're looking to streamline operations, innovate new products, or stay ahead in the market, this expert will show you how to leverage AI to propel your business forward. Don't miss this opportunity to learn how AI can be the game changer your business needs.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Great to have you here. Welcome to Transforming Your Work web class with myself, Grant de Swart. Great to meet you. So if it's the first time, it's a chance to meet you. It's my honor, it's my privilege, and I'm looking forward to spending this time with you, sharing with you how to get some very, very powerful acceleration out of your companies and your businesses, out of your teams, and out of your work by leveraging AI technologies. It's obviously the most important technology you've ever worked on as humanity, and it's transforming companies when done right. So there's lots of people and lots of businesses and lots of teams that are doing it right. But in fact, many are also failing with it today. Today, I'm going to help you with those distinctions between what will have you be on the side of winning with AI and what do you need to do and how do you need to do that. So first of all, welcome, Stephen. Nice to see you here. Welcome, Steve, in the chat window. Where are you coming in from? Welcome. You want to type into your chat window? Where are you calling in from? East Grinstead, welcome. And also John is joining us as well. John's an old friend. You might remember me from the drumming days. So welcome everybody, wherever you're coming from. I've been installing AI technologies for the last 3 years now. And these are the things that companies are doing right now that are making a difference and changing the game, and those that are getting in the way. So I want to help you today to understand that difference. Now, I'm really going to encourage you to sit back, just take some notes, turn everything else off. If you get really focused, and just give yourself permission to be here. I'm going to be about an hour, and it's going to be a nice and informative and a deep dive into things. So don't get distracted, don't take calls and stuff like that, otherwise you might miss out what's going on here. So actually, I'm going to share with you a number of things and that you could be doing, and there's going to be some great educational stuff. And also going to get an opportunity to schedule an appointment and where we can, sort of deep dive into your specific business and your situation. So if you're here, you're probably looking essentially how to understand and how to create a roadmap for success with AI. And if you're here today, you're probably in a business where you may be growing, maybe you're scaling. Typically, who's attracted to our message, that's the type of companies. But in fact, it really doesn't really matter, whatever industry you're in. You can really accelerate in any industry. So it doesn't matter what brand you work with or whether you're experienced with this or whether you're a large company or a small company, you'll find lots of great information here today. So anyway, this is, so basically, my name is Grant de Swart. I run a company called AI Fusion Automations. And we design AI agents and automated systems for businesses. So I've also been in IT since 1994. It's a long, long time ago. And I've done everything in IT, software installation and working with IBM and right at the beginning with networking. And I also certified as a Microsoft systems engineer. I also certified with ClickFunnels, doing lead funnels, and I've been working with, like I said, with small businesses implementing AI. So my talk is today's for you if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a professional, you're a business leader, or a professional of any kind, and you want to see your company and your team and yourself excel with AI technologies. Or if you feel maybe you're struggling a little bit with it, or how to get it implemented, or maybe you're just concerned about where to start. So it's good, if you feel like it's really going to be a big job and you don't feel comfortable about taking it on yourself or your team, this is probably a good place to start, because I'm going to show you some statistics soon that are showing that those that are trying to take this on themselves are actually failing quite often, but those that are working with professionals are getting amazing and incredible results. But the promise that anybody that takes this on that really works professionally with us, for example, will have an incredible, more productive and more profitable and powerful experience. And this is happening with the clients that I work with, where I help strategize, I consult with them, and I help them implement. And that takes a good strategy and a good plan. But part of what I want to do today is help you understand where you need to look as a leader, as a founder, and as an owner in your own business and with your own teams, so that you can start to help to create that pivot and that plan internally for yourself and your own companies. So it's a partnership. You work with experts like us on strategy and implementation technologies, but we also need to partner with you in being able to have your team ready, have you ready to be able to make this pivot. Because, AI is not just a bunch of tools, and companies that are looking at this as tools are failing. But companies that are looking at this as a change in the way they're doing things is like a change management process, are having actually great success. So properly integrated, AI will make you more profitable, more productive, and more powerful. So this artificial intelligence sitting inside your company, there's actually more artificial intelligence sitting inside your company right now than in the entire Fortune 500 had access to about 5 years ago. There's more capability, more horsepower, more raw intelligence than most of you will ever use. But here's the strange part. Most of you can feel that it's powerful, but you still can't quite point out to where it's actually making you money. And that's the gap. That's between how powerful this technology is and how little of it is reaching your bottom line. And it's an inexpensive gap. And in the next 60 minutes, I'm going to hand you the blueprint on how to close that gap. I'm not here to sell you AI. I'm here to show you that the order that actually works, the one I had to learn the hard way in my own business. So if you've ever felt that AI should be doing more for your business than it actually is, then you're in exactly the right place. So let's just get into it. So let me just start with a quick question for yourself. I want you to put in the chat if you can. Have you been using AI in the last week? Have you used AI for anything like email or research or meeting summary or anything like that? Pop that in the chat. John says yes. Great, well done. So that's great. So now the second question is, and this is the real ones, and I want you to tell me with total clarity exactly where AI is creating the biggest source of value in your business right now. So where is AI creating the biggest source of value in your business? So right there, that's where the gap is. The gap between winning, you just using AI, right? And winning with AI. So this is what we're going to delve into right now. And here's the thing I've learned is that companies that are struggling with AI almost never have an AI problem. Thanks, John says, writing copy, updating websites. Very good. So companies that are struggling with AI almost never have an AI problem. There's a clarity problem, a strategy problem, and an implementation problem. The technology works, as you probably know. It's astonishing. It's amazing. But the models are not the bottleneck. You're not behind because you picked the wrong chatbot or the wrong, AI system. You're stuck because nobody ever sat down and answered 3 questions. You might want to write these down. So where does this create the most value for us, your company, yourself? Where does it create the most value? The second question is, what do you build first? What do you build first with AI? And the third question is, how do you make it actually stick? So if you get those 3 right, AI becomes the biggest unfair advantage that you will ever build. If you get them wrong, you could spend the next 3 years buying tools and then wondering why nothing has changed. So I want to challenge you, and I want to challenge you to see how you're categorizing this in your head, because most leaders have filed AI under software, which is just another category, another vendor. another line item next to the CRM and the accounting platform. That mental model is going to cost you. AI is not just another software category. It is a new layer of intelligence being added to your organization. So software does what you tell it. You click a button, it performs a task every time exactly the same way. But intelligence is different. Intelligence reasons, it drafts, it decides, it predicts, and it adapts. So you don't operate it, you direct it. Very important, okay? So when you add a layer of intelligence across every function of a company, you're not just upgrading a tool, you're changing what the company is capable of. So what this means for the game itself, because the game has changed. For most of the last 20 years, competitive advantage came from access. Who had the best information, the best data, the best research, in fact, like the smartest people in the room. And that advantage is evaporating because now everybody has access to the same intelligence. Your competitor down the street is just one prompt away from the same analysis that your team took 3 days to produce. The old advantage was access to information. The new advantage is speed of intelligent execution. Speed of intelligent execution. Not who knows the most, but who moves the fastest with what they know. Who can go from insight to action while the competition is still scheduling the meeting. That is the game we're playing right now. And the rest of our time together, I'm going to show you exactly how to win it. So if AI is a new layer of intelligence, the question becomes, how much of that intelligence are you actually using? Because there are 7 levels to this, 7 of them, and they build on each other just like a staircase. So level 1 is productivity. Level 2 is creative empowerment. Level 3 is personalization. And level 4, automation. Level 5, business intelligence. And level 6, prediction. And then lastly, level 7, agentic scale. And here's the uncomfortable truth, is that most companies are only really playing at level 1. They bought the most powerful software in business technology in history, and they're using it to write slightly faster emails. And that's like buying a fighter jet and being thrilled that it has cup holders. So let's climb, okay? I'm going to show you every level, and as I do, I want you to privately mark where your company actually lives today. So level 1 is productivity. This is AI helping individuals work faster, drafting emails, summarizing meetings, pulling research together. That's first pass analysis, planning, reporting, the everyday friction of knowledge work reduced. And hey, that is real value. Hours just generally come back. This is where most companies start, but it's not where real transformation ends, because level 1 is individual and it's invisible. One person saves 20 minutes, nobody sees it. It never compounds into something the whole company can feel. If this is the only level you're playing at, you've bought a Ferrari to drive to the end of the driveway. So level 2, creative empowerment. Now AI isn't just helping people work faster, it's expanding what they're capable of creating. That's campaign ideas, content, brand messaging, product concepts, sales scripts, presentations, training materials. The blank page stops being a barrier. This is where something interesting starts to happen to your team. The junior person who used to wait for the senior person's ideas can now generate 20 directions just before lunch. And the marketer who could run one campaign can now test 5 all at the same time. At level 2, AI turns every team member into a creative force multiplier. Your output stops being limited by your head count and starts being limited just by your imagination. And that's a completely different ceiling. So level 3 is personalization. And this is where AI starts to touch your customers directly. For the entire history of business, we faced a brutal trade-off. You could be personal or you could be scalable. You could only pick one. The corner shop owner who knew your name, but he couldn't serve 1 million people. The company that served 1 million people couldn't possibly know your name. AI breaks that trade-off, which means you now personalize your emails to each customer. You can create custom customer journeys. You can tailor your follow-up. You can do segmented offers. You can have onboarding that adapts to who you are. The future belongs to companies that make every customer feel seen without manually customizing anything. So your customers can feel the difference between a company that treats them like a number and one that treats them like a person. So, and very soon, actually, they won't really tolerate that first kind after all. Level 4 is automation. Okay, now we can stop talking about helping people work and we start talking about removing that work entirely. So that's lead routing, that's onboarding workflows, all automated, process generation, ticket handling, CRM updates that happen on their own, internal tasks that just get done. Now, I know what the word automation does in a room. Somebody's already thinking about, okay, is this going to lay off my job or the jobs of my team? But let me direct you a completely different direction. So automation is not about replacing your people, but it is about removing the friction. So it's about taking those soul crushing, those repetitive, those copy and paste updates to spreadsheets and that work. And the stuff, the human beings are never proud of doing, they just have to get it done. And you're getting it out of the best people's hands so they can do the work that only humans can do. That's the human work, like judgment, like building those relationships, like creativity. So we're not shrinking your team, we're unshrinking your team. Next level is business intelligence. So up to now, AI has been doing drafting, creating, automating. But at level 5, it starts seeing, okay, that's dashboards that actually update, performance summaries written for you. That's customer insights surfaced without an analyst. A sales analysis, operational reports, financial patterns spotted across data you didn't even know that you had. Most leaders are flying their company on instruments that are like a month old. But now with AI, business intelligence tells leaders what is true right now, not what was true last quarter. And when you can see clearly in real time, you can make better decisions. So remember the new game, it's actually not a new game. It is an entirely different ball game. Okay, level 6 is prediction. So business intelligence tells you what is happening. Prediction tells you what is about to happen. Which customers are about to churn before they leave. What demand is coming before it hits. Where your cash flow tightens before it's a crisis. And who's showing buying intent right now? Where's operational risk building? Think about what that does to how that you lead your business. See, most companies are reactive. They respond to what already went wrong, and then you react. A predictive company gets to the act before the problem exists. So you save the customer before they're upset. You staff up before you're slammed with, overwhelming orders, or you shore up cash before that gap appears. The companies that predict better will move faster, they'll waste less, and they will win earlier. They're not running the race better. They just started the race before the gun went off. Okay, level 7, and this is called the agentic scale. So this is the one almost nobody in your market understands yet because it's so new, which is exactly why it's where your competitive advantage is. Everything we've talked about so far, like you operate, you prompt, it responds. At level 7, that flips. AI agents begin performing structured work across your business, not when you ask, but on an ongoing basis. They have a role, they do the job, and they fall into 3 strategic families. First, there's business intelligent agents, okay, intelligence agents. They monitor, they analyze, and they report. And then a KPI agent watching your numbers around the clock. Okay, that's like a sales intelligent agent, a finance insight agent, a customer behavior agent, a competitive intelligence agent, tracking your market while you sleep. Second, there's operations agents. So these are the ones that execute your internal workflows. The agents that do admin, your onboarding agents, the ones that do your fulfillment, documentation agents, project management agents, and customer support agents. That's like the machinery of the business running itself. Number 3 is the market outreach agents. So these are the agents that help you grow, lead research agents, sales follow-up agents, content agents, campaign agents, partnership agents, and reactivation agents, which basically is bringing dormant customers back to life. So the agentic scale is where AI stops being a tool that you use and starts becoming a team that you direct. And read that again. It's a team you direct. And that is the destination that we're aiming for. And here's the punchline to this entire act. You do not have to leap into level 7 tomorrow, but you do have to know that it exists. Because if you're still optimizing faster emails at level 1, while your competition is directing a team of agents at level 7, the gap between you isn't just going to close, it's going to become permanent. So, and this is where the opportunity is enormous, and why so many smart and well-funded companies are getting so little out of it. So it comes down to a single fatal question that almost every company asks first. They walk into the room and ask, what AI tool should we use? And yeah, sure, it sounds responsible. It sounds like progress. But it's probably the single most expensive wrong question in business right now, because it sends you straight to the vendor demos, the free trials, the shiny features, and that's before you've decided what you're actually trying to achieve. The right question isn't what tool should we use? It's what business capability are we trying to build? So capability first, and then tool second, always, okay? If we get that order backwards, everything downstream gets way more expensive. So here's how it plays out in real companies, okay? The marketing finds a content tool. The sales team buys a chatbot. Someone in the operations team grabs an automation app. The CEO starts using a meeting recorder. There's a prompt library floating around somewhere on a shared doc. And somebody added an AI plugin to the CRM, and none of it is connected. So 6 tools, 6 logins, 6 bills, 6 islands, each one solving a tiny problem for one person, but none of them talking to each other, none of them adding up to anything. And this is what I call death by point solution. It feels like AI adoption, but actually it's just AI clutter. And disconnected AI doesn't just perform. Let's go back here, sorry. It actively creates new problems. So fragmented workflows, because nothing hands off cleanly. There's inconsistent outputs because every tool has its own voice, its own rules. Security, there's a security risk because your company data is now scattered across a dozen platforms and that nobody's governing. There's team confusion because nobody knows which tool to use what. Wasted spend on subscriptions half the company forgot they're paying for, and low adoption because when it's messy, people quietly go back to doing it the old way. If any of you felt a little that was a little too familiar, you're not failing, you're just doing it in the order almost everybody does it. I'll just welcome Dawn in. So let me show you the order that actually works. Okay, let's just see. Actually, that was the right slide. Sorry, guys. So this is the reframe that actually changes everything. Okay, so AI is not a tool upgrade; it is an organizational infrastructure upgrade. So when a city, for example, like when a city gets electricity, you don't hand everybody a battery and call it done. You build the grid, the wiring, the standards, the safety. Then electricity becomes like transformational. Once the infrastructure is in place, and then suddenly everything from the factory to the street light runs on it. AI is exactly the same. It touches your strategy. your workflows, your systems, your data, your people, your training, your governance, and your culture, all 8. It is not a thing you install in one corner of the business. It's a layer that runs underneath all of it. And that's exactly why companies are failing with it. They skip the foundation. They rush to a tool because the tool is the fun part. That's the visible part, the part that you can buy this afternoon. And underneath it, the foundation is missing. There's no clear AI strategy. There's no mapping of the actual workflows. There's poorly structured data that AI can't even use. And disconnected systems. There's the wrong platform chosen for the wrong reasons. And also there's no team training. So nobody's training the people how to use it. And there's no plan for getting them to actually adopt it. There's no governance to keep it safe. And there's no model for measuring whether it actually returned any dollars, like any pounds, like no return on investment. So these are 9 cracks in the foundation. And here's the data which should stop every leader cold. It says that 95% of all AI pilots fail to scale. And that's not because of the technology, but it's because of the adoption. Because of people. It's not the model, it's not the math, the humans, the process, the foundation. So if the foundation is the thing that makes or breaks this, let's talk about how to actually build it. Okay. So how do companies who get this right actually do it? Not by accident, they follow a path. And there's 7 steps in order. Okay, first of all, number 1, you assess. Number 2, you strategize. Number 3, you prioritize. Number 4, you design. Number 5, you implement. Number 6, you train. Number 7, you scale. That order is not decorative. Every failure I've ever been called in to fix skipped one of these steps. And usually the first 4, okay, they jump straight into implement. So let me take you through the way I would take a client through it, okay? So number 1, assessment. So before you implement a single thing, you're going to assess. You're going to take a look at the business model. You're going to take a look at what the growth goals of the business are. You're going to take a look at where the bottlenecks are. You're going to look at what workflows are you currently running. We're going to take a look at the systems that you've put in place. We're going to take a look at the data, where it's stored, how it's managed, what data there is. We're going to take a look at the team, their capability. We're going to take a look at what risks are there in the business. We're going to look at, okay, what opportunities are there in the business. So these things are not glamorous, and nobody puts, we really did a great assessment on their website, but this is everything. The assessment is what prevents expensive guessing. Because every dollar or pound or whatever you spend understanding the business before you build is going to be $10 that you don't waste building the wrong thing. We've all heard about, putting your ladder on the wrong wall. It's exactly the same here. So this is why it matters so much. Most companies misdiagnose their own opportunity, right? The CEO calls me and says, we need a chatbot. And 9 times out of 10, the chatbot is not the answer. What they actually need might be a cleaner CRM architecture, or a better structured data, or workflow automation, or sales enablement, or training the team, or maybe redesigning the customer journey, or an executive dashboard so you can finally see what's really going on in the business. The chatbot was just one word they had for a problem they haven't diagnosed yet. And that's a job. Not to sell you the thing you asked for, but to find the thing that you actually need. Step 2. Opportunity mapping. So now we take everything the assessment surfaced and we map it against the 7 levels you just learned, okay? Where are the productivity gains? Where is the creative leverage? Where can we personalize? Which workflows are begging to be automated? Where are the intelligence gaps, the things you can't currently see? Where can prediction give you a head start? And where could agents eventually run the work? By the end of this step, the fog is gone. You're no longer staring at AI as no longer saying AI as one giant intimidating thing. You're looking at it a clear map of specific named opportunities across your business. Step 3, prioritization. Okay, now this is where discipline separates the winners, and you get to choose. Because once you see all the opportunities, the temptation is to chase all of them. And here's how you end up back at the point solution trap. Okay, so we prioritize across 6 things. We look at all the different options that we've got available from the assessment, and then we look at return on investment. What's the speed of implementation? What is the strategic value? What is the team? How is the team ready for this solution? What is the risk and what is the scalability? So we're hunting for the sweet spot, which is high value, it's fast to ship, and it's also low risk. The quick wins that build belief and fund the next phase and earn you the permission to go bigger. Because not every AI idea deserves to be built first. The sequence is strategy. Step 4, infrastructure design. So this is where we lay the grid, okay? We design the AI operating layer, the foundation everything else will run on top of. Which tools? Chosen on purpose. How data is going to be accessed. How are the systems going to integrate? Who has permission to what? Which agents have permission to go where? Which automations are going to run? What roles the agents will play? What dashboards show? And the governance that keeps the whole thing safe and accountable. And you notice what happened. The tools, the things that everybody wants to start with on day 1, finally show up here. So at step 4, that's after the strategy, after the map, after the priorities, exactly in the right place. Chosen to serve a plan instead of becoming the plan. And step 5, implementation. So now we build the first wave. We build for momentum, not for show. These are quick wins first. The workflow improvements people feel immediately. That's team enablement, the first dashboards, the first automations, the first agents, internal AI assistants that make somebody's Monday measurably better. Because the first wave isn't just about the function it performs, it's about belief. So when the team sees that AI makes their work genuinely easier, not in a slide, but in their actual day, that's the moment adoption stops being something that you push and becomes something that they pull. Step 6, training and adoption. And here's the step that if you take nothing else from this framework, I want you to take this one, right? You train the humans, not just the tools, because so much of this is just leadership alignment. Building genuine confidence in the team, not just competence. So that's prompt literacy. How do you use prompt? New workflow behavior, real process change, responsible use, like internal standards everybody understands. The technology was never the hard part. The hard part was always the people. AI adoption is people transformation disguised as a technology project. And remember that number. Remember, like 95% of pilots in AI fail. And almost always right here. Not because the tech broke, but because the humans never came along with the project. And if you skip a step, then you've built a beautiful engine that nobody ever gets to turn on. So step 7. So this is where you scale. This is where it all compounds. So you move from isolated use cases to an AI-enabled organization, from individual productivity to team workflows to integrated systems to agentic execution running across the business. So this is the part that's genuinely hard to feel until you're living it, because scale is not linear. Each level you unlock makes the next one easier and cheaper. The foundation you built in step 4 starts paying for itself again and again. This is a point where your competitors are still buying disconnected tools and simply cannot catch up because you're not adding features anymore. You're compounding on capability. Okay, so let me give you a picture you can carry out of this session. And I call it the AI organization stack. So it's from bottom up. I'm going to start off with strategy, then workflows, then data, then systems, tools, training, agents, and governance. Take a note of that. It's really important. So now let's look at where the tools sit, okay? Not at the bottom, where everybody starts, not at the top, where everybody fantasizes. They sit in the middle, okay? Tools sit in the middle of the stack, not at the beginning. Strategy is always the foundation. Tools are just plumbing. Strategy, workflows, and data hold everything up. That's the training, agents, and governance. They sit on top of the tools. The tool is just one layer. It's in the middle. It's doing its job. The moment that you treat that middle layer as the whole building, the building falls down. Now, let's move forward 2 or 3 years to see where all of this is heading. And this we call the agentic organization model. And it's simpler than it sounds because there's 3 families of agents. They're mapped to 3 things every business has to do. Number 1, you have to see what's happening. That's your business intelligence agents. Then you run your internal work. That's your operations agents. Then you drive growth and revenue, and that's your market outreach agents. The future company has human leaders directing intelligence systems across every function. And that's not humans being replaced by machines, but humans elevated above the work, setting direction, exercising judgment, owning the relationships and the decisions, while the intelligence systems handle the execution underneath. It's not science fiction. There are companies building it, and they've started already. So let me make it more concrete, because some of you are thinking that's for the giants. Okay, and I'm going to tell you it's not, because a picture company doing 5 to 20 million in revenue, whatever. On the business intelligence side, a KPI monitor is watching the numbers, a sales analyst, a customer insight agent. On operations, an admin assistant, an onboarding agent, a project manager agent, keeping work moving. On the market research side, a lead research agent, a campaign agent, a sales follow-up agent, are making sure that no opportunity ever falls through the cracks again. That's 9 agents working across the whole business, directed by a human team that's now free to do the work only humans can do. And this is not a Fortune 500 budget. It's a mid-sized company that simply got the order right. So now, if you're the kind of leader, and I respect, then you've probably got some concerns, right? That's normal. So let me answer the 4 we hear mostly, okay? Starting with the big one. Is this safe? And the honest answer, yes, it can be, but it needs to be designed correctly. The companies that get burned are the ones who let AI in through the back door, ungoverned with no rules. The companies that stay safe, built it on purpose. That means access control, and that's who can use what. Private knowledge bases, so your data isn't training somebody else's model. That's clear permissions, deliberate data handling, an approved tool list instead of a free-for-all, and real governance policies. Security isn't the reason to avoid AI, but the absence of designing it is. The second question is, what is it going to cost? And sure, that's a fair question, but it's the wrong one to ask first, because it only looks at one side of the ledger. The better question is, it isn't what will AI cost, but the better question is, what is the cost of inefficiency we're already paying? And you're paying for inefficiency in a number of ways. You're paying for it in the hours that your best people burn on a work a machine should do. It's in errors. It's in opportunities that slipped away because follow-up was too slow. It's in decisions made a month late. So you measure AI against that. It's against hours saved, errors reduced, revenue created, speed gained, capacity unlocked. and the conversation flips entirely. The expensive choice was never adopting AI. The expensive choice is the status quo you've stopped noticing. Third, will my team resist this? And here's a reframe I want to give. Your people won't resist progress, but they will resist confusion. So when a change is unclear, it's unexplained, and feels like it's being done to them, of course they're going to resist. And that's not stubbornness, that's self-preservation. But when people are given clarity, real training, honest reassurance, and a clear reason, it makes their work it makes their work better, and visible leadership, direction, they don't just accept it, they run towards it. And the data backs this up. 75% of employees worldwide are asking for more stability and reassurance through this shift, not less change. They're not telling you to stop, they're telling you to lead. Resistance is almost always a leadership signal in disguise. Concern number 4, the one we get asked most. So it says, just tell me, what platform should we use? Because everybody wants me to name a tool, and I understand why. Because a tool feels like a decision. You already know the answer, don't you? Yeah, platform comes after strategy, always. Because the right platform depends on your current systems, depends on your data structure. Like, what are your team's skills, your actual use cases? What are your security needs? What are your integration requirements? Anyone who names your platform before they understand those things isn't advising you, they're just selling you. And the right tool is obvious, but only after you've done the work that makes it obvious. So let me bring this all the way home. Everything I've shared today comes down to a single choice. And every one of you who's watching is going to make it, actively or by default. You can approach AI as a collection of tools, a chatbot here, an app there, a subscription you cancel next quarter, busy, scattered, and forgettable. Or you can approach it as a transformation strategy. That's a new layer of intelligence built on a real foundation in the right order with your people brought along. Both feel like doing AI, but only one builds a lasting advantage. The other builds a bigger software bill. So let's picture your business 18 months from now. If you choose the second path, execution is faster. Decisions that took weeks now just take days. Your decisions are smarter because you finally see what's true in real time. Every customer feels personally seen. Your repetitive work just handles itself. You see problems coming before they arrive. Your team is confident, they're capable, and they're elevated, doing the work that they're actually proud of. And quietly across every function, a team of agents is working alongside them. That is the AI-ready organization. And it's completely within your reach if you start with strategy instead of just the tools. Now, everything I've laid out today is a map. And here's the thing about a map. It can show you the whole terrain and still not tell you your next step. And because every business watching is standing in a different place on it, some of you, maybe you're right at the beginning, you're deciding where to start. And some of you are mid-journey, and maybe you're genuinely stuck. And some of you maybe are further along than you realize. So a webinar can show you the landscape, but it can't tell you your move. Only a real look at the specific situation can do that. So here's what I'd like to do, and it's totally free. I'm not selling anything. So if you would like to book a short AI strategy call with me, what we'll do is we'll look at where your business actually is right now. We'll find the single highest place AI or automation could help you first and map the safest next step. So whether that's something you take on yourselves or something we do together later. So it's not a sales pitch. It's not dressed up as a favor. It's not generic AI in your industry talk. It's a focused, honest look at one real part of your business, and you'll leave the call with a clear step you can act on whether or not we ever work together. And the link is on the screen, which books your call. I think I've also put it as a link in the chat. Scan the code or click the link in the chat. grab a time and let's talk about your specific situation specifically, not in AI in general, but your business, your team, and your next move. Because in the end, the businesses that win the next decade won't be the ones with the most AI. They'll be the ones who were clearest about what to build, brave enough to build it in the right order, and wise enough to bring their people with them. The intelligence is already in your business. The only question left is whether you'll direct it or just keep paying for it. I want to thank you very much for being here. Hopefully we'll get to speak to each other soon. I hope you've learned a lot. And you're welcome to send me an email or contact me or book the link and we can send and have a chat together. If you send me your email, I'll also send you a recording of the webinar. But otherwise, thank you very much. It's been great spending time with you. Have a great day and good luck on your AI journey.